Let us consider two parallel lines. L and M are parallel lines and N is a transversal. So, the transversal is cutting these lines at 2 points. So, we have two parallel lines intersected by a transversal. Now, when they are cut by a transversal, you will find that there are 4 angles formed here. So, let us number these 1, 2, 3 and 4, and there are 4 angles formed here. Let us number this as 5, 6, 7 and 8. So, we have 8 angles in all. Now, there are some relation between these angles. So, let us find out what these relations are. First, we have to see that there are some angles which are lying beyond this line and some angles which are lying inside the line. So, the lines here are L and M and the angles inside the line are 3, 4, 5 and 6. So, 3, 4, 5 and 6 are angles which are lying between the two parallel lines and these are called the interior angles. So, we have 3, 4, 5, 6 as the interior angles, and the angles which are beyond that, that is outside, are called the exterior angles. And what are the exterior angles? They are 1, 2, 7 and 8 and these are called the exterior angles. So, we have in this figure that is drawn 4 interior angles and 4 exterior angles. The interior angles are 3, 4, 5 and 6 and the exterior angles are 1, 2, 7 and 8. Now, there are some angles which lie one beside the other, that means they have a common arm and a common vertex, and these are what? 1 and 2, 2 and 3, 3 and 4, they are all lying one adjacent to the other. So, these type of angles are called adjacent angles. So, adjacent angles are angles which have a common vertex and a common arm. So, we can say that 1 and 2 are adjacent angles, because if you see 1 and 2, this is the common vertex and here you are having the common arm, that is this line here. If you take 7 and 8 for that matter, they are adjacent angles, because whether it is angle 8 or angle 7, we find that there is a common vertex here and there is a common arm. So, 7 and 8 are adjacent angles, 6 and 7 are adjacent angles, 5 and 6 are adjacent. So, we have whole lot of combinations here of adjacent angles. So, adjacent angles can be easily found out from any figure. So, we can say adjacent angles are angles which lie one beside the other, they have a common vertex here and they have a common arm. Having understood what are adjacent angles, interior angles and exterior angles, we are in a position to move further. Now, from the same diagram, we can find that there are other types of angles here. Angles which lie exactly opposite to each other, for example 1 and 3, these are called vertically opposite angles. So, 1 and 3 are equal, these are called vertically opposite angles. So, vertically opposite angles are always equal. So, 1 and 3 are vertically opposite. Similarly, we can say angle 2 and 4 are also vertically opposite angles. Moving below, we have 5 and 7 as vertically opposite angles and we also have 6 is equal to 8. So, vertically opposite angles are formed when two lines intersect each other at a point, then the angles which are formed by the intersecting lines, one opposite the other. So, here these are called the vertically opposite angles. So, vertically opposite angles are always equal. So, this will be equal to this, and similarly these two angles are also vertically opposite, they will also be equal to each other. So, here we have 1 and 3, 2, 4, 5, 7 and 6, 8, we have 4 pairs of vertically opposite angles equal to each other. Then we have other combinations, these are called the alternate angles. Now, when we talk about alternate angles, we have alternate interior angles and alternate exterior angles. So, interior angles we have seen 3, 4, 5, 6 are interior. So, when we have to establish a relationship between the alternate interior, you have to look at the transversal, the two parallel lines, and take one angle from this side of the transversal, left side, and one from this side. So, left side and right side, and both are interior angles, one on the left and one on the right. So, these are called the alternate interior angles and they are equal. So, we can say 4 and 6 are equal. Similarly, 3 and 5 are also equal. These are called the alternate interior angles. So, we have alternate interior angles. So, we have two pairs of alternate interior angles, and what are they? We have angle 3 equal to angle 5 and angle 4 equal to angle 6, and they form like Z shape. So, here we are having two parallel lines. This is the transversal, one angle taken on this side, left side, and one on the right side here. So, they are on different sides of the transversal. These are called the alternate interior. And same way we have alternate exterior. And what are the alternate exterior here? We say 1 and 7, angle 1 and 7 are alternate exterior, and similarly 2 and 8 are alternate exterior. So, we have interior and exterior, we have alternate interiors, that is 4, 6 and 3, 5. But when we look at the exterior angles, again this is the transversal, these are the two parallel lines L and M. When we look at the alternate angles, exterior angles, they are 1 and 7 and 2 and 8, and 1 is equal to 7 and 2 is equal to 8, because we will say alternate exterior angles are also equal. Now, we come to corresponding angles. What are corresponding angles? Now, corresponding angles, if you look in this figure, we have 8 angles here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. Corresponding angles are formed on the same side of the transversal. So, we can say 2 and 6 are corresponding and they are equal to each other. 3 and 7 are corresponding angles. So, we look at the angles on the same side of the transversal. In alternate angles, we were seeing one on the left and one on the right. Here we are seeing on the same side of the transversal. So, 2 leave out 3. So, 2 and 6 are corresponding. 3 leave out 6, 7. So, we are leaving one angle and the next they are corresponding. So, we get 2 equal to 6 and 3 equal to 7 if we look on the right side of the transversal. On the left side, if you see, the corresponding angles are 1 and 5. So, 1 is equal to 5 and we have another pair here, that is 4 is equal to 8. So, these type of angles formed on the same side of the transversal where we leave out one and then the corresponding will be equal are known as the corresponding angles. So, we have 4 pairs of corresponding angles in this figure. 2 is equal to 6, 3 equal to 7, 1 equal to 5 and 4 is equal to 8. And in all this, we have something called the linear pair. Now, what is the meaning of a linear pair? A linear pair is a pair of angles which lie on a straight line, and we have seen that when it is a straight line, we have a straight angle, which means that the total of x and y will give you 180 degrees. So, we have many linear pairs here. So, 1 and 2 form a linear pair because they lie on a line. 2 and 3 form a linear pair because they again lie on a line. Similarly, we have 3 and 4 linear pair, 4 and 1 as linear pair. So, we have many linear pairs here. So, by definition, we can say a linear pair is a pair of angles lying on a straight line, and the total of these angles will give us 180 degrees. So, we have seen what are vertically opposite angles, we have seen what are corresponding angles, we know what are adjacent angles, we know what is linear pair, complementary angles, supplementary angles and so on. So, using all this information, we will be able to solve the questions or solve for unknown values that are given. Now, let us look at the next property of angles, and that is when we consider two parallel lines. Let us consider these two parallel lines as L and M, and let us consider this transversal as P. Then, as discussed, there are 4 interior angles. Now, let us consider only the interior angles on one side of the transversal. The interior angles here are 1, 2, 3 and 4. We are not at the moment marking the exterior angles. So, when we look at the interior angles, the total of the interior angles on the same side of the transversal will give me 180 degrees. So, I can say 1 plus 2 is 180. I can also say that 3 plus 4 is 180. So, these are called the co-interior angles or the consecutive interior angles, and by property we can say that the sum of the co-interior angles will give us a total of 180 degrees.